cabagomez.com, and I'm going to try to do a quick video at how to save and retrieve a table using GameSalad and GameSpark. So let's get started. I modified the script. I'm not going to go through the items I did on the first video, so if you need to see those, please see the first video in this series. I modified the script so that now you can save and retrieve a table. So the URL for the script is exactly the same. It's just version 2. And you're just going to select this script and then go into your GameSpark instance, and we're just going to modify the script that we had before. So we're going to go into configuration and down to cloud code, and under callbacks, GameSalad, you're going to paste in that script. Okay, once you're done that, I'm going to show you my project. It only has one scene. And if you saw this project before, the status used to be down here in the previous video, so I moved it up there. And I added 2 buttons. This button is the save button, and this one is the get table button. I'm just going to rename it get for the... Okay, and I also have this table called orders, and I have fish and 2. We can make it whatever we want. Cats, for example, and 2. And cats and 2, and that's it. And then if you look at the scene, I also have these 2 text boxes, and they're just displaying the first row, column 1 and column 2. So if I run this right now, it's a fish or cat and 2, whatever I typed into that table a second ago. So let's look at what the save looks like. And basically, if it's very similar to what we did before. If you look at the URL here, the URL, wait, sorry about that. Let's try that again. You see the URL, the callback. This is all explained in the first video. And then the request type is save table. The table name is orders, but you can make the table name whatever you want. If you're saving multiple tables, you could do this dynamically. The username and password from the thing. So save table, the table name, username and password. And then we're going to network send the table with the URL, the table that we want to send, and then the attribution. Now let's go and look at the get table, and it's a very similar URL. You see here again, this is explained in the other video, and we have a request type get table, order, username, and that's all. This and everything else is from the first video. So the only new thing is the table name, orders, and the request type is get table. And in this case, we get table from URL that the URL that I just showed you, and into what table, and then we save the status into login real, but you could use another property. I try to make this as quickly as possible, so I use the same property. So let's see what it looks like. So I still have you see it's displaying cats and 2, and I still have the same login as in this other video, and it's test. Oh, already messed it up. And that's the name of my dog, in case you missed it from the first time. And I'm going to log in. It's -1 because I'm already logged in, so I log in, log out, log in again. Now I'm logged in, and I'm going to save that to the database, to GameSpark. And you see it flash really quickly, and it says that it's saved And so if I go in here, Data Explorer and Table, and I do a query, I only have one entry, so I could just search by. And usually it's in the, you see, and there's cats in too. And actually, if I go into this document here, and I change this to cats.5, I could actually go in here and get, and if I refresh this, you see that it goes cats.5. I'm going to show you one other thing, and then we're going to go back to GameSparks to show you how to create those indexes. So, so here's the table, right? This is the orders table. This is what we're sending. And I'm going to delete this row. Let's say that somebody started a new app or whatever. And I'm go back to the preview. And see, when this loads, it would be undefined because that table row doesn't exist anymore. So I'm going to pull it back down. Again, I'm going to log in as Stella. Okay, and I'm going to get it. And if I refresh this, you see cats.5, so it pulled down the data, even though my table was completely wiped out. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is that as soon as you run my script and insert any table, it's going to generate this, this table data type. But you might not see it here because it doesn't have any data indexes. So, so this is what the table looks like, right? And I have an index right now for name. But let's say it's going to be difficult because yeah. So we'll do one for properties. So if I go here, configure data indexes, you would see that for tables, I have an index of name. You see? I could add, and I created this. So I just click on add, and I fill this in out, shortcode. Let's say that there was another property that you wanted to index, meaning that you wanted to search for. What you can do is, for example, a table. You could add another one. And let's say that, I don't know, rows. So you have something that says rows. And then this is the path. So it could be property dot rows. And it's a string. And so when I save this now, and I go to Data Explorer, you still have the tables, right? But now I could search by rows. And I just picked out at random, so it probably, you couldn't search for it because rows does not equal. I don't believe you do fun. So remember what I did for rows was properties and rows. So, but if you wanted to do some other property in here, for example, it would be sort of like children dot zero or children zero, and you would have to specify the path. So for name, the path is just name because it's at the root of this document. Anyway, that might be too much to understand, but I could probably do a whole video on how to create those paths. But let's say that you wanted this property, let's say 0 here, and search by this name. When you go in here and configure the data indexes, you would have to recreate where this property is rows in this path, in that path. So it would be dot whatever dot name, and then you could search for it. This one is at the root, so I didn't have to do that. And that's pretty much it. It's a short video. I hope you find it useful. If you have any questions, please put them in the GameSalad forums, because I do not usually go to YouTube.